Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. Today I'm going to show you an exceptionally delicious and easy to prepare Sushi Burrito Teriyaki Salmon roll, and which can easily also be made into a teriyaki chicken sushi burrito roll. These sushi burrito rolls are a delicious cross between sushi and a very filling burrito. This fusion recipe is very versatile, so if you'd like to see more options, please watch all the way to the end. And check out the end cards for more ideas to add to this Sushi Burrito Teriyaki Salmon dinner. The macronutrient ratio for the Sushi Burrito Teriyaki Salmon is 1.3 to 1, with 9.4 grams of total carbs, 2.6 grams of soluble fiber, 0.8 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in 6 grams of net carbs per serving. And I'd like to mention this one roll is actually 2 servings because it's very filling. To make this sushi burrito roll, you will need to do a bit of prep. The first step in making this sushi burrito is to make my oven-baked cauliflower rice. A link to the video showing you how I do that will be provided in the description below. Then once your oven cauliflower rice has been baked and cooled, put the cooled cauliflower rice into a mixing bowl. Then drizzle the seasoned rice vinegar on top, because it's the seasoned rice vinegar that's used to make sushi rice. But if you don't have any seasoned rice vinegar on hand, just substitute with rice vinegar. Not quite the same taste, but good enough for now. And toss well to season all the cauli rice. Now it's time to add the mayonnaise and toss again to combine. And my last ingredient to season the cauli rice is to also sprinkle some roasted sesame seed oil on top and then toss again. Be careful not to compress the cauli rice as you're blending and tossing. You don't want it to become compressed and mushy. You still want the cauli rice to be individual granules. Then set the bowl aside, leaving it enough time to marinate as you do the next step. I will not be using any cream cheese to bind the cauli rice together. It's not needed, and it overpowers the seasoned sushi rice I made. I'm going to show you 2 different versions of how to make keto teriyaki salmon. Now for the first version, I prepare my salmon fillet by first patting it dry, and then using half of the teriyaki glaze, I place it on the skin side, or you can put it directly onto the parchment paper like I'm doing here, and then place the skin side down and use the rest of the teriyaki glaze on top or on the non-skin side. Then simply place your tray with the salmon in a preheated 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven and bake in the middle position for 10 to 15 minutes or until done. How long it takes will depend on the thickness of your salmon. And when done, remove from the oven and let the salmon fillets cool completely. And then cut the fillets into 2 equal lengths and then set these aside. You also have to prepare your vegetables. And because I like the crunch, I'm going to use raw carrots, which I'm going to julienne. First, cut the carrot either lengthwise into very thin strips, and then cut these strips into thin julienned pieces. Or take your carrot, cut on a diagonal into thin wedges, and then cut each of the wedges into julienne pieces. Then take your English cucumber, cut it to the same width as the nori paper, then cut into thin lengthwise strips. If you don't like the seeds, you can just cut that out or just leave them, whatever you prefer. And the last vegetable I'll be using for this sushi burrito is red bell pepper or capsicum, which you also cut into very thin, long sections. Now that all my vegetables are prepared and everything is ready, it's time to make the sushi burrito roll. First, you'll need 2 sheets of nori placed slightly overlapping end to end lengthwise. Then you have to bond the bottoms together by wetting the edge of the underneath nori and then pressing the top one gently. This will help them stick together. Next, distribute the prepared sushi cauli rice at one end of the nori. And when you're spreading, make sure that you spread your cauli rice right to one end and to the outer edges. And the goal is to distribute a thin layer of cauli rice to about 2/3 of the length of the combined nori sheets. This will be enough cauli rice to wrap around all your vegetables. Next, sprinkle the black sesame seeds on top of the cauli rice. And now place the lettuce leaves. I'm using iceberg lettuce, but you can use any soft lettuce near the edge of the cauli rice. And then put the red bell peppers or capsicums, and then place the cucumber spears in the center of the lettuce. Place and arrange all your carrot sticks on the other side of the cucumber. Now it's time to get your keto teriyaki salmon fillets. Lay one half of the salmon fillet on one end of the nori, sort of in the center and on top of the vegetables. Then place the other salmon fillet at the other end so that the two pieces touch right in the middle, like this. Now for the last part of the assembly. Using a bamboo sushi mat, roll the sushi burrito tightly, and as you roll, hold the content and tuck under. Try to roll very tightly and squeeze as you roll. I would like to take a moment and ask, if you're new to my channel or have not done so before, please support my work by subscribing and, very importantly, turn on your notification bell so that you'll know when I post my next video. I really love corresponding with everyone, so please leave me your thoughts and questions in the comments section. And if you like my recipes, please refer my channel to someone that you think may also like my keto, gluten-free recipes. I'm done rolling the sushi burrito and I'm placing it seam side down. It is not strictly necessary, but I would recommend that you wrap this delicious sushi burrito roll in parchment paper. Just take a rectangular piece of parchment paper that is a bit wider than the sushi roll, roll your sushi burrito in it, and as you're rolling, tuck the ends in as I'm doing here. When you've wrapped your burrito, cut it on a diagonal, and each half is one serving. By wrapping your sushi burrito roll in parchment, it will help hold the roll together, especially as you're eating, and not to mention it looks like you just got it from a restaurant. This now looks like a roll you would get at Sushirrito, a restaurant in San Francisco. I love San Francisco. San Francisco was a city we toured with our kids in a multi-day stopover when we were doing a family road trip across the USA. That was a few years ago though. Now I'm going to show you a second version of the teriyaki salmon if you don't have fresh fillets, or if you want something easier and less expensive, but still the great taste. For this version, I'm going to use a good quality canned Wild Pacific salmon, which is packed in water. So the first thing is to open the can and drain and squeeze out the water, and place the canned salmon in a mixing bowl, and with a fork flake the salmon pieces. This you don't have to bake. All you have to do now is just to add 1 or 2 tablespoons of my keto teriyaki glaze to the bowl and fold until the teriyaki glaze and the salmon flakes are well combined. That's all there is to it. The link for the keto teriyaki sauce and glaze will be provided in the description below. To make the sushi burrito from this point, just follow the same steps and same vegetables as I did for my first version. To the nori, you just have to add the cauli rice, the lettuce, the cucumber, red bell pepper or capsicum, and carrots. Then place the prepared canned teriyaki salmon on top. Roll it all together, and here you have an extremely exceptional, super easy, and quick to make sushi burrito teriyaki salmon, version number 2. This is so tasty and delicious. And if you don't tell anyone, I'm sure they won't be able to guess that this was made with canned salmon. So it can be our little secret. I can't help myself, so I'm going to take a little bite. But salmon is not the only protein you can use for this recipe. As I mentioned in the title, you can also use teriyaki chicken. To make the teriyaki chicken, you take whatever cut of chicken you like, breast or chicken thigh, cut into long strips, and fried with the teriyaki glaze until done. And then use the teriyaki chicken in place of the salmon to make the sushi burrito. And my fourth version I would like to recommend for this sushi burrito roll is actually a very unintuitive use of pork belly. Just cut the pork belly into long strips like we did the chicken and fry it in your skillet with the teriyaki glaze. And when it's done, use it in place of the teriyaki salmon to make your sushi burrito roll. And here you are. In this video, I have shown you 4 different ways to make an amazing, absolutely delicious, I can't stress enough how good this is, sushi burrito teriyaki salmon, chicken, or pork belly rolls. And here you are. Now it's time to serve and enjoy. When you're ready to make this sushi burrito roll, the link for the printable recipe is available in the description below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Stay safe and stay healthy.